इजिप्ट नहीं गए तो क्या अफ्रीका चले गए?
यहाँ तो फील आ जाएगी.
चलेगा ठीक है यार, इजिप्ट का कैंसिल हो गया, लेट्स गो टू अफ्रीका. Welcome, Anirudh Varma Collective. This is such a good thing for us at SoundChk and Merchant Records to have you and your entire team.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us, Salim sir. Thank you so much.
No, it's really, I've been following your music and you guys you sound so good.
Thank you.
So genuine, so original and so rooted to our culture and tradition. I mean, I never ever, whenever I see a post, whenever this thing, I make sure I listen to the entire 90 seconds or whatever snippet that you're posting.
Means a lot. Thank you so much.
No, really, I've been following your music and I'm so grateful that we are part of SoundChk.
I'm so glad we're part of SoundChk.
No, truly. So, tell me, I know your sound. Like, I know that you guys make music which is very, like, it's always like very reflective of our culture and tradition. It's a reflection of a bandish, of a rag, or thumri or something. How do you go about approaching? Let's say you had to write this song for SoundChk. How do you go about it?
So usually it's actually, the process is evolved over the years. We've been around for 6 years now. And earlier we'd probably pick up a bandish or a thumri and record a demo of it.
Okay.
Just like a piano voice demo. And then I'd program a basic arrangement and send it to the artist who I felt would suit that song.
Okay.
But over time, the instrumental, especially the core band, is evolved, and this is the current team,
which is actually a tighter version. I know you have a much bigger ensemble. I know there are loads of there's a big ensemble of singers and there are more musicians.
Correct,
I know
correct.
that. But I know that, I'm sorry, you had to cut it down here.
No.
I didn't ask you, dude.
No, you didn't. I mean, it's one song we had to choose. So, since you like this one.
Well, I honestly, it was so difficult for me to pick because Anirudh sent me a bunch of songs and I just, first of all, I really I love the way this song has a story to tell. I love this rag a lot. It's in Jinjoti, right?
Correct.
And it's got a beautiful, I was talking to Pratik that इसमें बड़ा वो राग में बड़ा श्रृंगार रस है. It's a very romantic rag, but also at the same time it gives me a feeling of veer ras, which is patriotism, and that's because that's just me. I mean, I'm not saying everyone feels like that, but it is a beautiful rag. It's so rich and everything in this rag sounds just so pleasant to the ears, and you almost feel like you're one with the earth. It's very very beautiful. And I coming back to this Thumri, it's this composition. It's called Kaahe Karat.
Correct.
And you obviously had, you of course there's a song, you have a basic composition. It's a traditional composition.
It is. Right? This one is, yes.
But then the way, the instruments come in, the way you have designed, tell me a little bit more about that. And, we love to have everyone's inputs. And
sure. So
why don't you start with introducing him?
Yeah, so I think it's a big band. So Shivansh Gabriel on drums, Shaundra Thakur on sitar, Saptak Sharma on tabla, Pratik Narsma on voice, Varun Rajashekharan on ghatam, Rohan Prasanna on sarod, Madhur Chaudhary on bass, and Shrikant Vishwakarma, who is not in the frame right now.
He took off, I know.
He took off on guitar.
Yeah.
So this song was actually, our first tour got cancelled a night before. And we were all just really upset. First international tour. We were at a tour Egypt.
No, but you all went to America.
No, that was
this a year later.
Before this. I mean, the idea came before that.
In 2022, we had our first tour planned, which was in Egypt. And that got cancelled the night before our travel for some logistical reason. And so we were all just really upset. And we all met, we thought, let's meet and jam. And this song initially got made in one go. It was just played because this bandish, we're doing a very different raw quartet, like an acoustic format. We just played it in one go, and interestingly, every single part came there and then. So I think
it all happened
in one go. So I think
anger really brings out the best.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to you. Like, once again, please, your name.
Suyash.
Suyash. So Suyash, this obviously, for you, it's a playground because when the bandish is generally it has Indian subtext and but again, like your interpretation of drums on it. There's a whole wide canvas. You can do so many things.
Yeah.
But I love the way you've done. You've not overplayed, and then it's the drums firstly kick in from a certain end. So and that's a great sign of a really good ensemble and a good musician who knows where not to play. Because everybody knows where to play and they can just play the hell out of it. But tell me, how did you approach this composition?
Firstly, thank you so much. That means a lot. I think, as someone very aptly put it, last minute panic is a great way to kind of approach these situations. And when we started rehearsing the song for the first time, I think Saptak, the tabla player, already had an idea of what he wanted to put down. And the way the song was flowing sounded really nice as it was. But there were certain embellishments, I think, that I could have added here and there, which started sounding really nice. And I had the idea of trying to put a little bit of like an African-ish kind of twist to it, because the tabla part just called for it. And so I told him, I said, why don't we try some like a really slow dance hall kind of.
Egypt में गए तो क्या वो अफ्रीका चले गए?
यहाँ तो feel आ जाएगी.
चलेगा ठीक है यार, इजिप्ट का कैंसिल हो गया, let's go to Africa.
So yeah, I think it just stemmed from there, and then as we approach the end of the song where everything picks up and the jhala comes in, I kind of just followed his lead. He was doing the jhala, and I decided to play exactly that, but add some pockets to it, which weren't exactly what he was accenting, but kind of just complemented it. And then
Saptak is like saying yes, but I know that there is always tension. Drummer and tabla player always have sometimes.
Surprisingly, with him, there's been zero tension. We've always just found some mid-ground.
Or let me say the tabla player and the bass player sometimes. The baya and the bass always kind of like same frequency in fighting. I'm sorry, Gautam as well. I mean,
it all works out, yeah, somehow. Hamaara playground mein maaram pitti nahi chalta hai.
Yeah.
Catch. Tash khelte hain.
I mean, in a band, it's great that sometimes, obviously, sometimes when people play a lot, then it can become a little messy.
True.
And Anirudh is a very nice guy. He doesn't like something. He always says like, "Good, it's sounding good." But I think hats off to you guys that you all understand each other so well and know where to play, and and very appreciative of each other's talents. I'd like to know more about how you approached this song.
So basically, I play the sitar. My name is Shomitra, and we have been doing this bandish as a quartet form, in the quartet form, so where Anirudh, I, Pratik and Saptak, we have been playing here and there, and we used to do this bandish. And in that format, we actually try and, stick to the purest form possible. We play Jinjoti in its purest form. Here, of course, as you heard how the song was created, here Rohan has a lot of solos there where he plays the major part of the rag of.
And I'm glad that you give him that like Saroj to take over there.
Yeah, and I think that's because as a band here, it's not just for this song. As a whole, as a band, we are great friends. We respect each other's music a lot. And we learn from each other a lot. I openly say this, I learn from each one of them a lot.
This is a great learning for everyone who's watching this.
I love each one of them as a musician. As a human being, they're fabulous. But as a musician, on stage and off stage, I have practiced with them for hours. So not just for ABC, but as a solo musician, as in whatever form that be. So in this song, again, because Sarod was there, he was playing, I thought, let me come down a bit, let me be in the back foot, and I'll play all the fillers and all, and I'll complement what he's playing. So that's how I look at it. And that jhala part where we both kind of get into it, because that's one of our USPs when we play our individual instruments. So that's beautiful. A very sitar sarod thingy.
It's great. It's a great sound. It sounds so beautiful and big and colorful. And they're both really amazing Indian traditional ancient instruments. And they have, when they play together, it has a great sound. And very rarely now, very rarely now that we have sitar and sarod as part of the same ensemble.
Yeah,
बहुत कम होता
I
है
don't
ऐसा.
think so. There is any other
Very
band
less.
which has both sitar and sarod in one band.
It's really amazing, and but thank you so much for saying this. Over to you, Saptak. Great musical name, first of all.
Thank you.
With a name like that, one would think you're a melodic instrumentalist. But tabla is also a melodic instrument.
Yeah. Indeed.
But tell me, how did you approach this? It's a playground for you, bandish mein to, but फिर दूसरे लोग बजाते तो तकलीफ नहीं होती, because in this bandish form, sometimes the quartet is a better support for you. I'm sorry.
Well, you're absolutely right on that. That sometimes it's like quartet is a very opened up playground, and where we can be like anything. But especially in this format, the best part is about spacing out. As in musically, when we talk about that, we all have learned that music is especially when you can create in silence. I mean, when you can really space out things. So especially in a project like this, when we did workshops also, that's what we always portray, that each and every instrumentation and each and every instruments have its own beautiful aspects. So if we can, portray for even a shorter span, no need. Indeed, it's an 8-minute song, and we've done 5 different parts of each and every instrument. But still, if we can do very little bits also, we can come out with different flying colors.
Do you get pressured, that you have so many amazing musicians
Right.
on one song? Thoda bahut to kisko solo wolo do, or something
Actually,
like that.
it's interesting because no one ever asked for a solo.
Of course, yeah, I know that.
But
you as a writer,
Right.
as you're an arranger and a writer also. So obviously you drive this bus,
right.
So do you have that pressure of like, okay, now मैं क्या करूं यार, solo खुद भी बजा सकता हूं, at times you can also do it, but then you reserve it to maybe Pratik should do an alap, or maybe Shomitro should do a little alap something, or solo, or maybe just
So I think it comes to where what
or
the
it can
song
be even a
is.
bass solo.
Absolutely. I mean, very often a lot of our piano lines are we play together because
Yeah,
registers change.
I saw the syncopations were beautiful. Yeah.
And so I think mostly with this group, the song takes over, and I think to understand which instrument is working best for that narrative.
Yeah.
Because even though in the quartet version, the star plays this bandish, but in this version, we're almost driven by the sarod is taking over a lot of the sections. So I think it's whatever I sort of judge what the song needs. Sometimes like an alap will be done by not the vocal but the sarod, and then a busier section can be done by, say, Shomitro on sitar. So that back and forth with every song that changes.
You studied Indian music?
I have, yes.
Okay, nice. And then, of course, you studied Western music as
Western music as well.
well. Really good. Well, I must say one thing, guys, that you are a great inspiration to a lot of bands. A, for the music, and B, for the camaraderie and the love and respect for each other. बहुत कम ऐसे bands होते हैं now where people are really, traveling and being a part of a family. Like you guys are like a family.
Yeah.
Which is really a beautiful thing. What say, Pratik? How did you think about, when you're singing this bandish? I'm sure you learned it many, many years ago, because you're singing with so much confidence and so much glory.
Yeah, so this bandish I learned from my guru, Sri Ramchandra Bhagwatji, about 7 years ago. And the bandish came to me at a very interesting kind of a point in my life where certain emotions had to be channeled, and the bandish it just came to me like the perfect tool for that channelization. And I think as Shaumitro said, that we still play that bandish in a quartet format. And I've been singing that format, this bandish. In fact, I think if you remember Saptak, we were shooting one of our music videos in Allahabad.
Yes.
And that's where Anirudh was on the piano, Saptak Bhai was on the tabla, and we were just doing evening riyaz, just singing this bandish. And I think that was the first time I shared that bandish with the group.
Yes.
Together. And it was just an instant hit with all of us.
But
Because
this rag is a big hit. I mean,
Yeah,
it has a great
That's
effect.
exact thought I had.
Yeah.
It
We have
connects very
a
well.
biased version, Jyoti.
Yeah, I know you had a song called Jinjodi before.
in our first album, yes.
I think
We felt it wasn't enough to go
So you know I follow your music.
ABC's first release was Jinjoti. Like the first song release.
First song,
First song was in Jyoti.
It wasn't enough to do it once, and then this Bandish though had something, because for me the imagery is of a boat, so that piano riff, which is
The lay of this bandish is very, very addictive in a way. Like that pulse is so comfortable. It's almost like the bandish is kind of putting you to sleep through a lullaby. Like it's not sleep; it's a very deep comfort.
Yeah, it makes you feel like it's a Sunday.
Yeah.
But coming to you, please. I'm sorry. We have to.
But
give us-
minus one. Yeah, and the thing, adding to Pratik's point, the tempo really plays a big part in this, because when you play a song at a fast tempo, I think there are things you can do, but when it's a slow tempo, you can explore the spaces in between. I mean, the tempo is 66 here, 66 BPM, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we could create a song where there are so many relief points and there's a jhala at the end. But the whole build up to the jhala throughout the song has so many different parts where like two musicians can relax and listen to what's happening. So I think that plays a really big part. And with respect to my instrument, I mean, this is only Carnatic instrument in this song.
Yeah.
So Ghatam, I think, really gels with a lot of Hindustani instruments as well because of the tonal quality.
Yeah.
And being in Delhi, born and raised in Delhi, I have interacted with a lot of Hindustani musicians. And since I played with Saptak a lot, so we really bond well, where we know where to stop and where to play together. And Suyash created this beautiful groove. He talks about a slow dancehall kind of a thing. So that snare hit, the phrasing of the snare hit, I think that really helped us.
I wanted to ask you, Varun, that how at times it's difficult because your instrument is very intimate. You know, I mean, you can't really play very loud.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have, depending on your microphone.
Yeah.
A tabla you can still kind of hit hard.
Yeah, it's a very difficult. I mean, the thing is that.
But like for Ghatam, it's not, you can't really bang it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, how hard can you play? You're dependent on the microphone.
It does, of course it does. I mean, because I think AKG C4 on the pickup mic has been a big help for Ghatam players.
But when you're playing in an ensemble, like let's say you're playing in a jam room or something like that without any mics.
Yeah.
It's quite a challenge, especially when you have so many people.
And
when you have a bass amp, and when you have a bass amp and a keyboard player who's the leader of the band, and he wants to his keyboard to be the loudest.
And sir, like
I try and not do that, but
Look, I'm a keyboard player
pointed
too.
out, there are constantly arguments in the jam room that yaar Ghatam nahi aa raha, tabla nahi aa raha, please. So that constantly happens. But thankfully for recording and for live gigs, I think even the tonal quality says that the sharpness, the high is cut through in the instrument.
Yeah,
so,
and it adds a beautiful flavor. Especially in this song, it's so calming to hear the Ghatam on this song because it makes you feel so earthy and which is the reflection of your instrument anyway.
Exactly.
It brings that earthiness to the song in such a beautiful way.
That means a lot, sir. Thank you, sir.
And it has with the tabla, a song which has tabla and Ghatam and sitar and sarod. I mean, what else do you need?
Exactly.
With this kind of combination, it's like you're already home. And then you have bass and drums. Right?
So three different sections and coming together. So it's really beautiful.
Beautiful.
Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Prasanna. Like you had a great part in this song.
I'm glad.
Very extended solo. I mean, I'll tell you honestly,
I'm glad. Yeah.
In the shoot, people were like looking, "Kabhi khatam karega." So
Definitely. But yeah,
no, but what a beautiful. Firstly, like such a great contribution to this song.
Thank you.
Your instrument, the way you play this instrument, also, Sarun, it's not easy. Obviously, it's a fretless instrument. The way your technique and your sur is so beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you so much. For me, this song specifically had this, the initial emotion was, sadness and, betrayal.
Really? On the contrary, it brings you a lot of happiness and calmness.
Yeah. The tour got cancelled.
The lyrics of the Bandish talk about betrayal by Kanhai.
I followed the lyrics. It's a romantic betrayal.
Yeah.
So it's not really, it's more playful. It's playful.
Very playful.
It's more like a taunt,
Yeah.
Even like this, I mean, sorry, I'm just breaking this conversation, but there were a lot of bandishes which are like taunts or which are like, complaints, shikayat. वो शिकायत भी उसमें भी श्रृंगार रस होता है. तो जैसे जा रहे अपने मंदिर वहाँ वो भीम पलासी के जो है उसमें भी वो एक शिकायत है, लेकिन उसमें वो श्रृंगार रस है. तो खैर anyway, you were saying, हाँ.
Yeah. So I was just saying ki that emotion actually brought Jhala into existence in one of the ABC songs.
Yeah.
So because there has been no Jhala
No,
before.
exactly. I just realized.
No, yeah, no Jhala.
Like we haven't tried Jhalas like in any of our songs. So for me, like I was just trying to kind of lash out
Yeah.
onto my instrument
I
while
remember that moment now. I
yeah,
remember that moment
because
in the
we were
jam
jamming and then we were trying to
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
This was the day
let's
before we had to
let's
leave.
do this. We don't know what's gonna happen and how it's gonna feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just try to kind of. I personally try to lash out on Sarodhan and like I think Jhala is like quite good for that.
No, it really
Very
is.
very.
But honestly, this instrument, like Sarod, brings so much color to the song, and especially to this rag. It brings
Yeah.
a
It's great
sense
on
of
Sarod.
richness and a sense of, एक दर्जा ले आता है इस गाने को, एक
Yeah.
गूंज ले आता है इस गाने में, इस बंदिश में. And great, once again, a great contribution of all you guys. And, last but not least, and this is something which I wanted to ask you, like, because there's so much you can do as a bass player on this, but how do you control yourself? And I mean, of course, you guys are the backbones of this entire composition. It's such with such warmth that you bring in so much love on this song. Tell me, when you heard that, there is also when you were playing these changes, obviously you must be thinking that let's put some more chords in it and kind of. But like I know that a good musician, a really sophisticated musician, knows where not to play. Everyone knows chords and changes and stuff. Tell me, how was your approach?
So the biggest thing for me was this playfulness, but also therav.
Yeah.
So because the way I play, I try not to I just try to listen and not like play over someone else. But regarding the changes thing, like I feel like all of us, like the song kind of evolves. Like we start with sometimes a lot of changes, and we add more chords, we subtract chords by the time we're playing live, because this song we've been playing for over 2 years. So it has come to this point where we're all happy with the harmony, but like we're very interested in I mean, like for the studio recording, Shrikant added some more chords, but that was not like
Required.
Yeah, he only added it because everyone liked it, and it added some color that was not there. But there is no need to like fill it with color for us. We try to leave it open, and especially for me, like because I have to essentially, if I'm not predictable, I can screw over everyone. It's like my volume knob is the loudest in the band, and as you might have noticed, I'm the quietest. So yeah, I think that works well.
Well, you certainly bring in a lot of color and a lot of even though you seem to be like very calm and patient in the band, but yeah, you do. It does really bind everyone in such a beautiful way. And one thing I must say, I wanted to ask you that there are lots of moments in when you're working with so many musicians. यार आपको कोई चीज अच्छी नहीं लगती किसी की. How do you say that? Like, this is also a lesson for all other people who are watching this, conversation. Like, how does one, let's say, you don't like a certain hit of, Varun, which is like too much.
I think now we're at a stage we just say it up front.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels bad, but like eventually, like people understand the point.
But what
of
if
view.
he doesn't agree?
Then it's up to Anirudh, honestly. So yeah,
if an idea is not working, we try it out. If it's the
No, forget about the idea. Don't try to be politically correct.
No, actually.
Talk about a problem. Let's say, Pratik is singing the Bandish, the second part of it, and Saptak is just overplaying the hell out. But double laggi baja raha hai, kuch pata nahi. There's ज़रूरत नहीं है, but like he's trying. आपको पसंद नहीं आ रही है. आपने Saptak को इशारा किया कि क्यों कर रहा है. उसको तो वो अपनी धुन में है. होता है. Music is a very subjective thing, everyone is approaching a composition in a different way. It's not like usko kuch problem hai Prateek se, but something like that happens. Prateek is not happy. Saptak's not happy that Prateek is not happy. How do you deal with it?
Generally, it does happen that supposing a part is getting too intense with no purpose, and we're just in the moment. So we tend to go back to it a lot, because sometimes in the jam or when you're making a part, if we lose the intent, when it happens that we're all feeling that something is not working. I think, and somehow at now, especially now, I'm talking this year, like at this point in time, 6 years into the collective, we somehow feel it together that something is just not working. So we always stop. And fortunately, till now, no one takes it like a personal attack. Sometimes hopefully they don't.
But people fight for parts.
Yeah,
sometimes.
for example,
If I may, I would say that over the years, in the first few years, Anirudh also as the director of the collective experimented, went through a lot of combinations, different combinations of musicians. And eventually I would say, since we have known each other for longer than the collective has existed, and we go back at least 10 years into the past as friends and as, musicians playing with each other just for fun. So I think our instincts have gotten better about how things can be, what things are, whether, like, I would instinctively know that Shaumitro is probably not okay with this.
Sure.
And it comes back to me as
Well,
well.
correct. Well, let me tell you one thing. You guys are a great inspiration for upcoming bands, because, listening to you guys, first of all, the music is fantastic, but the camaraderie and understanding which it only comes with experience. And, I hope and pray, I know that you guys are all individually amazing musicians, but it's really beautiful and fantastic that you're a part of a collective and bringing so much joy and happiness to people's lives with what you guys do. Because your music is not normal. It's very special. It's very, very special. It connects people who are not familiar with our roots and tradition. It connects them to their, and you guys make it so simple and easy for us for people who are not, belong to our roots and this thing, for them to understand what Indian music is, and to understand what, and for Indians to realize that, this is really our music, this is our sound of India. ABC is a beautiful representation of the now and the tradition.
Interestingly enough, we were talking about this at a workshop of ours where we realized that some of us aren't even trained in the other person's language. Like, some of us are trained in Western music, some of us are trained in Indian classical, some come from a Carnatic background, some from a Hindustani background, but somehow all these languages just coincide in a beautiful
Music
space.
is one language, and you guys, speak it beautifully, representing India in such an amazing way. I wish you all the best, and I'm really grateful once again for Kaahe Karat and for ABC, Anirudh Varma Collective, to be a huge part of SoundChk Season 2.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're going to give you like a small little something for you guys. Can we have 3 of them, please? We collaborate with this brand called Moha, and they make products out of Ayurvedic and natural products. And they make a lot of things like creams and multivitamins, and they're all made out of natural. It's a part of a big pharmaceutical company, Charak Pharma, which is 75 years old. It's been going on for centuries. And so here's something. I got 3 of them. This is something which I really actually use, and it's called it's the sunscreen. हमारे sound checks बहुत लंबे चलते हैं दोपहर में, and फिर थोड़ा सा रंग वंग संभालना पड़ता है. So I always use this because in the middle of the day, in the heat and all that. So I always apply this, and it's great to have an Indian brand do a beautiful sunscreen spray. So I use this, and it's great. And there's a lot of other stuff, especially for your voice and stuff. A lot of good stuff here. That's for you.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, don't fight too much. Thank you. Let's take a picture.